Hey everybody, I'm back with Patrick, who's here to help me out with deciphering the last couple of hearings in the Laura Owens criminal case. And he's going to explain to us what's been going on. I saw our friends Schnitzel Ninja and All the Best Research had uploaded some videos of Laura's last couple of hearings. One took place on Friday, one was today. And so we're going to go through that. But I have a couple of housekeeping issues first. This red sweater I owe to somebody. I was told that somebody it was like an auction thing on True Crime and Wine Times, a fundraiser for Mike, and this is the Halloween costume sweater I had. So I owe this to somebody. I'm not going to say your name just in case you want to be anonymous, but I will be shipping it to you tomorrow. So and then the other thing is a couple people have asked, and Patrick is aware of this situation. No, I have not been paid back yet by Afroman. That is something I'm going to talk about tomorrow. But I've been avoiding it as much as possible because I really just wanted to get this resolved quietly and for it to go away. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So it looks like we're about to go to small claims court. But oh well.
I will reserve any comments until small claims court.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to. It's hard because it's like I want to tell people like, hey, this is what's going on, but at the same time, it's like, how much do I want to? How much do I want to say on the internet right now?
Yeah.
The only reason I even brought it up is because I was like, maybe a little bit of public pressure will make this situation go away. Maybe they'll just pay me back quietly the money that I paid them and it'll go away. And then we won't have to worry about that. And that'd be great because doing it privately for 3 months didn't work out. And so I tried that. And then I got on the phone with him last week and he said, yes, I'll refund you. And I haven't heard back since then. It's been almost a week. So yeah. But that's that. Can you turn up your mic, please? Well, which one of us? You're going to have to be a little more specific, I think. As far as we're talking. Fake Laura Owens, thank you for the $5. There's my sweater. I've been looking all over for that. Okay, good. Yeah. I found it in the stables. Right.
Can we just appreciate that fake Laura Owens has been in character for like 3 years now?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I mean, it's real Laura Owens at this point.
I think Patrick and Lauren should swap hair. That's extremely random. But okay.
I appreciate that because Lauren is having a peak hair day today.
It's not great, to be honest, but it is what it is. I can't do much with it right now until it grows out long enough for me to put it up. But like right now, I can only put this much of my hair up. So
is that like your natural color?
Huh?
Is that your natural hair color?
Yeah, I've dyed my hair once in my life for one period of time, and it was bright red.
It's really pretty.
Every girl goes through that at some point. Not every girl, but you know what I mean. All of us.
Well, you remember me. I had long hair, and then I didn't, and that was also for a specific reason.
Totally. Yeah, it's all the girls that have problems have to do that at one point in their life, and apparently so do the boys. So.
All right. You'll catch us on replay.
Totally. Okay, so we're gonna go over first this hearing from Friday. Apparently that was so. What does that mean? It was like a settlement conference. What does that mean in a criminal case? Can you explain that to people? A settlement conference.
So yeah, I'll preface everything with I don't know. I'm not an Arizona lawyer. This isn't legal advice. And on top of that, criminal. So there's the rules of civil procedure, right? Which we've been dealing with the last 3 years. But then there's a completely separate body of law, the rules of criminal procedure. And I don't work with those rules. So this, I guess really anything I have to say is going to be more generalities. Like I know what a plea is. But I've never heard of like a settlement conference. So I'm not sure if that's like an Arizona artifact or just something new, but in general terms, it's the same thing as a regular settlement where, you try to find a neutral third party to help bridge the gaps between, what the parties are disagree about, which I think in this case, it seems to be everything in really plea. So yeah, that's what I took away from it.
Okay. Somebody says they can't hear us very well. Do me a favor, hit that settings at the bottom of you see the toolbar next to the red thing, but to the left.
Yeah.
Go there, then hit audio, and then the mic volume slider on the bottom. Just slide it to the right a little bit.
Oh, mine is on automatically adjust. Okay,
Yeah. Turn that off. Turn that
that
off.
is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they'll tell me. I just jacked up to 165.
Yeah. All right. So this settlement conference. Let me move myself really quick. We'll be over. Nope, that's not what I want. That's a little better. We can see everybody here. So, you have a whole gavel over there. Okay, I know that you're trolling me. He says, "Can you hear Lauren's squeaky mic?" And I know that you're trolling me, and I'm not gonna fall for that again because I fell for it once. He's like, "Why can I hear like your alarm going off or you something like every time you talk?" And then I like derailed my entire stream, went back and like listened to the audio, and I was like, "You're lying to me." So I'm not doing it again. All right. So I'm going to play this part where Clayton talks in this hearing, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. There's a little bit of the state talking here, but we'll get to that.
Is captured, not a one-off, a person who at least the evidence is going to support that she engaged in fraud with these two gentlemen right here, but moreover and importantly, tried to perpetuate that fraud in the Superior Court. And our position is that needs to be held to account. And we believe that Ms. Owens is maybe differently situated than, and there are other examples of individuals who have purported to be pregnant to get a benefit from an individual. Ms. Owens has two different and unique situations. There's also, I haven't spoken about this, but there's also the Stormy Mitchell, who is the woman whose ultrasound was used by Ms. Owens. That is actually a third a victim, and she feels very strongly about being exploited by.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. So the thing is, like, her plots against these victims, these men, have so many spin-off victims. It's insane because she used the stories of real women who have gone through complications in pregnancy and cancer, etc., to dupe these men into trying to be with her. And so this woman that he's talking about, Stormy Mitchell, I believe Laura used her ultrasound that she had found online, which Stormy had shared with a very deeply personal, traumatic story about her pregnancy. And Laura used it to try to trick Greg and hurt him into being with her and making him feel like a piece of crap, basically. And then later suing him. So.
And I thought it was really interesting. Someone posted a really helpful graphic outlining what the plea was, or like what the offer was for the plea, like the sentencing range, and then what charge it was associated with. And I thought it was really interesting that of the 4 charges that they're trying to stick her with, 2 of them are related to Stormy. It's altering the sonogram, and then it's lying about it in court. So I think that really does go to show just how serious the law takes those offenses.
I made my parents listen to the whole Love Trapped podcast. If you guys haven't heard it, Stephanie Young's podcast does a very good job outlining the story ahead of all these court hearings. I'm sure everybody who's watching this has heard it, but just in case. And my mom is here. She's saying that she can hear both of us, so I think we're okay. But where did you see that chart? Was it on the subreddit or?
Yeah, Echoes. Thank you so much. You were totally right. And yes, it was on the subreddit. I will find it for you momentarily.
Patrick's mic is okay. Thank you.
Yeah, now I'm on the mic that I was holding, so I was literally just.
Nice. Okay. I've been there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll keep. If you find that, just send the link to me here in StreamYard, and I'll pull it up. But in the meantime, we'll keep listening here.
Ms. Owens using her information and her the ultrasound that was hers. So it's our position that the no agreements and the multiple counts capture both the fraud perpetuated on these gentlemen, Ms. Mitchell, and importantly, the court and the system of justice that we have in Maricopa County. That being said, we are also cognizant of there's no direct violence. I mean, certainly these gentlemen feel violated, but that's why I think she is given at least the theoretical opportunity for probation ultimately. Thank you. Yeah, shoot that.
That was like the beginning of me getting confused right there. I was like, wait.
Okay, where they said like there's no direct violence, but like they feel violated, that kind of thing.
No, it was the possibility of probation. That's where I was like,
Oh, okay.
oh, does that mean that there's also a possibility of jail?
Can't jail be part of probation? If it's not prison, but can jail be part of probation?
So I asked my legal AI, and yes, it's kind of, they call it like weekend jail,
It's like a day release almost.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is there's very stringent rules about proving your employment. So if she doesn't have any employment to prove, I don't know how that's going to work. Again, everything with Laura is not.
You probably can't fake it like you do with ultrasounds and HGD tests.
Well, she certainly can't say she's taking care of her dad because her mom has monopolized that.
Right. Well, they also seem to be fine, like gallivanting off without him, and he's taken care of at some points in time. Which I try not to delve too much into like what's going on with Ron. I know that the family is involved to some extent, and this is not Patrick speaking. This is obviously my opinion. The family is involved somewhat in her scams, and so it's hard to really feel any sympathy for Ron. Yet I do, to where I'm like, I don't want to speculate on his illness too much. So I tried to leave that out of it. But at the same time, if she's trying to make that her job, quote unquote, then you have to think about it. You have to talk about it. It's like, ugh. So it's kind of like, it feels icky to me, but at the same time, it's like it's her fault that it feels icky, not anyone else's. So.
And just real quick, before I jumped on, I did check the bankruptcy docket and no updates.
Gotcha. Was there supposed to be an update this week, or?
Well, because they filed that motion to dismiss and because they filed the objection, I would imagine the judge is pretty livid. So I thought there would at least be like a scheduling conference or something.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, it's only Monday, so maybe it's, And
before the 4th of July, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have that. This is the chart that you sent. Let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, shout out to Zoe from Reddit.
Thank you, Zoe, for Zoe's thoughts from Reddit, by the way. This is what we were supposed to be looking at, right? I can zoom in a little bit more. Hang on, just for people who can't see very well. Okay, we have 1, fraudulent schemes and artifices, class 2, defrauding Clayton for benefit. Lowest sentence 3 years, aggravated sentence 12.5 years, presumptive term 5 years. What does presumptive term mean?
It's not the same thing as a mandatory minimum, but you can think of it in the same way. It's just like, are you familiar with the sentencing guidelines, the federal level generally?
I mean, I know what that means, but I don't know what they are.
So, in like an effort to make sentencing people more predictable and less arbitrary, states and the federal government have come up with guidelines, which are not mandatory guidelines, but they're mandatory without being mandatory. And so when you see presumptive, that's like, if you were to the chart, the sentencing thing really literally looks like this. You go like forgery. Okay. First class. Okay. And then you go down and it says 2.5 years. So that's the presumptive amount of time that person should be sentenced to. So in order to have a rational basis for going below or above that, there have to be aggravating or mitigating circumstances. Yeah. So basically your floor is 2.5.
Gotcha. Okay. I have a couple of comments here. I'll read really quick. Cayman Nunn, thank you for the $2. Wish one of her horses won Derby before bankrupt. Thank you for that. Okay, we have Ville Marie Alcaraz says the meeting of creditors is still scheduled for tomorrow. An emergency motion on July 1st. You probably know what that means more than me.
There definitely will be an emergency motion on July 1st. Okay. That's a great point. Whoever said that. Ville Marie
Alcaraz, I think.
Thank you, Alcaraza. Thank you. Wow, I'm Hispanic. I'm embarrassed. My ancestors are embarrassed. So right now, despite Jan filing the motion to dismiss, there is still a hearing on the calendar. And Vil, what I'll say is they likely already missed their IDI, which was rescheduled. So I don't anticipate that they'll show up for this meeting of the creditors, but you're totally right. The judge hasn't ruled on their motion to dismiss or change the hearing date for the meeting of the creditors. So yeah, that is tomorrow. And if
they're not going to change it then, because there's no time to change it really.
Yeah, exactly. There's no time to change it. They got to show up or not show up. But then, gosh, that's just really unadvisable.
Oof. All right. Mother Pucker 1, I remember a guy in my high school had the work release thing. The jail would drop him off at school, and then he had to go back to jail like an hour after the day ended. Yeah, that makes sense. So she would have to go to work she would be in jail all night, wake up in the morning, they would let her go to work or whatever, and then she would be taken right back to the jail, basically. So she would both be in jail and technically for the first time in her life be a productive member of society. But if she didn't comply with that and she tried to fake a job paperwork or something, the way she does with her fake babies, that could lead to more dire consequences, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been on probation or had a probation officer, but I cannot imagine that you want to mess with that. I just think, I'm not a mental health professional, and this is just my opinion, but I just think she would completely decompensate before even getting into jail. I don't see her being able to even mentally handle that. So this whole hypothetical, will she get a job? Blah, blah, I'm not even there. I'm will she even make it in the jail?
Right. I mean, I think it would be a disaster for a while because she would be forced to undergo some structure and some responsibilities for the first time, where she can't just go to her mom and say, I don't want to do this, and let me just say this or that. And it would be a disaster if she were to decide to go to the jail and think that she could just get away with sleeping it off and eating and sleeping and doing whatever she wanted to the whole time, because they would actually force her to undergo some kind of structural adult things that I think that her parents have never taught her to do. Honestly, in my opinion, for the first time, I think she would lash out. I think it would be a mess. And then I think eventually she would get used to it. And I know that a lot of people think that there's no way that she would ever change. I honestly think that for a lot of people, jail and that kind of structure and that kind of forced structure is the only way that they will change, because the way they were brought up and the way they've been reinforced, their negative behavior has been reinforced. I always say that our jails are full of people who need to be in mental health hospitals, and our mental health hospitals are full of people who need to be in jail. I think that applies to Laura. If she were to go to a hospital again, I think that that's not what she needs. I think at this point, Laura and her specific issues are something that requires structure and discipline, and that she's never been required to follow. So that's just kind of my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, the only pushback I have on that is that is what they provide in prison, but that's not what they provide in jail.
Right.
So
that's fair enough. I always think about these things like this person has done such severe crimes that they're going to go to prison. But I always have to remember, she didn't murder anyone, right? She's technically, in the eyes of the state, this is her first set of crimes. She's never been convicted before. So I keep thinking she's going to prison, and the truth is she may not. So,
and that's sort of what underlies in my whole prediction about the sentencing, which we can get to later. But I just really, before we get back to the hearing, I think everyone was talking really fast, but I think what this settlement is, in principle, what the plea is saying is they will either dismiss charges 5 through 14, or they will dismiss charges 7 through 14. I'm not sure which ones they're making her plea to. I know they're definitely making her plea to the first one, and that is the no agreements plea. And that's the one that I think is going to put her in the clink.
Gotcha. Okay. No agreements plea. Can you explain that?
Yeah, actually, I believe it or not, my legal AI can explain it better than me. But there was a very good explanation also in the subreddit that I can find for us. But it's basically I can't find it. So when you bring your plea to the judge has to review it and accept it. and the plea is a settlement, so it would be binding upon the judge if they do accept it. So the plea package, as I would call it, you could bring and say, on the first charge, we are recommending no jail time and probation.
Okay.
And if the judge accepts that, then the possibility of jail is off the table. But in a no agreements plea, the phrase is like you're throwing yourself at the mercy of the court. You're not saying neither side is saying what they're comfortable with. They're leaving it up to the judge. So the judge will start with a 3-year presumption and then mitigate it or aggravate it up or down.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we're going to move back to this screen real quick. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that chart before we resume the video here?
It's kind of helpful to have up at the same time. You don't really, but oh no, this is what I want to say about the video. I'm not sure if you can zoom in on Laura, but I was watching a lot of body language video.
Okay.
And I learned something called blocking. I watched this because of the Sharilla the Killer. And so blocking is apparently like, if you say something rude to me, I like will slowly close my eyes as like a way to sort of block out like the negativity that I'm feeling. And so I watched Laura on my giant TV, like standing in front of it. Yeah. And the amount of blocking that she does, specifically as it relates to like Clayton rejecting her, like the things that she's blocking and the things that she's like emotionless about, like the sonogram, no blocking, but like that she like that, you know, something negative from Clayton, like closing her eyes for 3 seconds. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It won't let me zoom in, unfortunately, any closer on StreamYard, but I will. I'll look at her face and see what I know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
I think that's the only questions we have for now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And did any of the victims want to address the court today?
I think so, Judge. And then would you like them to come up to the podium or what would?
Whatever they feel comfortable with.
I can just stand here. I don't know what all so much I can say. The big thing I want to focus on is not allowing an extension of the plea deal simply because she has a history of delaying. She's done it. She's on her, I think, 6th or 7th lawyer at this point. And it's just going to continue. My understanding is he's come into the case a few months ago. And this feels like an 11th hour push to say, I can't access the material. You know, to me, if you couldn't access the material, you should have accessed it day one. And you know, every single day you should have been following up to.
And just to comment on what Clayton's saying here, why is he seemingly taking so long to learn how to access the material? Like that seems so. Like from a layperson perspective, that seems a little stupid. I don't know if you can give any insight into like, is this like just a lot of material that he hasn't been able to go through, or what were you thinking there? Because my thought after hearing Clayton say that was just kind of like, hey, you sound like you're kind of being dumb on purpose, almost, or like delaying on purpose.
So really, the only way I can kind of explain it is in my own career. Like there was a situation where I had a discovery volume that was like 200,000 individual pages of documents. Mm-hmm. And of course I didn't read every single document. Yeah. However, let's say, but I did open them all there. I had my juniors review the documents or skim the documents, but I didn't substantively review every single document. But if I went into court and I wasn't able to open one of those documents, I would still point it out to the judge, because that opens you up to malpractice if it comes out that you didn't even look at a document. So really, it's like professional responsibility on the one hand. Yeah. Also, it's just an easy thing. Like, it's an easy thing for people to agree with. Like, you know, oh, the weather's nice out. Like, everyone's going to agree if the weather is nice, the weather is nice. And, oh, I haven't had time to look at the documents. Oh, well, you haven't had time. Well, then, you know, you must need more time. Like, regardless of whether or not it's substantively relevant.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how long this attorney's been in the case? Has it been just a few months, or I can't remember when he came on?
I think Clayton says it, but I think it's 3 months.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, let me
Get that evidence. I'm all for due process, but to me, this just feels like an extension of her tactic carried out by him to extend it. And it's been 3 years. I'm tired. I know we're all tired. And a ton of evidence, blatantly obvious. She's admitted on the stand to medical fraud. She's admitted to certain lies. It's a clear-cut case. She's guilty. There's no reason to drag it out and say the terabytes of information are going to somehow change something. But my biggest focus is just, and I don't know the answer to this, but to me, a little bit of common sense. When did you come in? When did you get the material first sent to you? And then how hard did you really try to access this material? To me, lawyer should be trying to access it every single day, not waiting in the 11th hour and saying he hasn't had enough time to review it. That just feels like a delay. So that's just the thing I want to highlight. What's enough time? You know, give him another month, another 6 months. I mean, there's nothing in that terabyte of information that's going to all of a sudden open her up to innocence. It's in my opinion. I'm just giving my opinion, but.
So, for him, he's been the very public face of this for a long time. He's got to be exhausted. And I feel like he's been through so much more than will ever be addressed in this criminal court case, or even in his family court case, which was a 2-hour hearing. There's so much more that he's been through that will never, ever, nobody will ever make up for that. And so he's got to feel frustrated and exhausted right now. I totally understand where he's coming from.
When I was empathizing with him in this moment too, I was like, Looters is not a small guy. Like, if I was standing up there, addressing the court in cargo shorts and a t-shirt, like, I'd be pretty like self-conscious. But I really commend Clayton for being like strong, speaking like his truth, and not being intimidated by the process. So I found that I don't think I would have had that same level of composure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is not me putting words in his mouth, but rather me just kind of like, this is my takeaway from what I'm watching right here, is like, he really wants her to be in jail behind bars, something that's going to deter her from doing this again, and to just kind of move on with his life. I think that he's had enough for sure. Having to sit in the same room with her even for this long of a time after the initial incident where she, in my opinion, took advantage of him when he was inebriated, and then continued to, from the messages that we've now seen, in my opinion, sexually harass him and put him through all of this. I cannot imagine having to sit in a room with this person, being free to go about the world and continue to do it to other people, knowing you were just one of many. It's got to be heartbreaking.
Those text messages from the real estate complaint were truly disturbing.
Right. And I kept telling people, and people say this all the time, if you reverse the gender roles, people would think blah, blah, blah. And people kind of write that off like, yeah, but it's not the same. If you actually look at those text messages, reverse the gender roles, like somebody would be like, have been arrested. Like, it would have been insane. Somebody's life would have been ruined. Like Laura's life, it's kind of like, what was she really doing before other than pretending to be a boss babe? Now that we know, especially in her bankruptcy cases, she's never had a real job in her goddamn life. What has she really lost? Nothing except what she was faking on LinkedIn. But like, if the roles had been reversed, Clayton would have lost everything. Clayton would have been raked over the coals relentlessly for, however long this was going on. It would have been terrible. So, yeah. All right, let me finish what he's saying.
No, I appreciate that.
Another month, 2 months, 6 months, it doesn't make a difference. The outcome's going to all be the same. So I would just like to, me personally, not extend this. She either chooses to take it or not. It's been laid out. She understands, she knows she's guilty. So she just needs to either take it or go to trial. To me, it's just a straightforward thing. But I just would like to know how much effort he's put into actually accessing the documents. I think that's important to take into consideration.
Yeah, Mr. Litters, I mean, do you have any ideas how long it will take you to get to that information or review that information?
The specific question is how hard I've tried.
No, I don't think. I guess this is more. It would be more of a question for the case management judge. So I guess I don't really need to talk about that today, because I think if you did have that was really more for the case management judge.
What I'd like to ask, Judge, is I certainly understand Mr. Echard's frustration. What my intention to do starting this weekend is to identify the specific exhibits that's within this voluminous discovery and identify those and try to get those to Mr. Lueders early or by midweek. Here are, basically I'm going to do a show up. Here are what I expect to be the exhibits at court. I think maybe that would help him really be able to wrap his head around what the state's evidence looks like and then communicate with his, and I hopefully that can expedite this process.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's a really good offer. It's thoughtful, and I think it will help. But yeah, I mean, I can safely say, and I've made this clear to the prosecutor's office for the past month and a half or so since this was officially disclosed. It actually was disclosed to her previous attorney. That's not incorrect, but there was nothing done about that information with any of the previous attorneys. I can safely say that we're the first ones who have actually started to look at it, and we have done everything we can up to this point to do that. That's what I'll say.
Thank you, Nick.
I think with her first private attorney, they didn't get very far. It seems like they charged her with 7 additional felonies. So that could have been a problem with her paying them, I suppose. As well as like the private, or not the public defender, sorry. It seems like she may not have been satisfied with the public defender, especially with the public defender. She seemed to kind of go off her chain again. He seems to be the only attorney she's had in this process that she didn't respect or listen to enough to stay off medium.com. So I don't know how she's paying for this new attorney, but it kind of seems like the first one maybe fell through, if I have to speculate, because of the cost. And the second, I can't really say, other than he was a public defender. She probably wanted a private attorney. I don't know how she's paying for this, but yeah.
Well, I think that might have been part of the reason why the bankruptcy got tried to get dismissed, because there would have had to be an accounting for that GoFundMe money.
Okay.
And yeah, anyways, that's just an opinion.
I mean, that's something that hasn't really been, I guess it hasn't really been looked into too much officially, right? But I mean, people can kind of figure that out, or rather have strong opinions on where that money went. Let's see, Patrick, is it a negative link or just a link? Are we talking about the Randazzo website related to the anti-SLAPP case? Yeah.
Yeah. If I go to Randazzo's website and I type in David Gingras, or if I just type in Gingras, actually, it says State Bar of Arizona versus David Gingras, and then I click on it.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me to Echoes of the Tabernacle.
You made it, dude. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it again. Maybe they changed it, but yeah, it was really weird.
Okay. Fake Laura Owens, thank you for $2. She said, work. I think that was back when we were talking about getting a job while in prison or jail. Sorry. Marissa Marie, thank you for the $2. But would she have to be up before 7 a.m.? In jail? I don't know how early they get up in jail. I would say probably 7 or 8. I would think she would be up by 7 or 8. I don't know. But if she does have to be up by 7 a.m., you can bet she'll file a complaint about it and we'll all get to read it. So, yeah. I just want to point out here, I haven't heard Greg talk yet, but Greg is a private guy, right? So this is like a new territory for him. This has got to be really stressful for him. So I'm proud of him just for like showing up in the room, especially because she's been trying to torment him with restraining orders when he didn't do anything wrong. Like she used a fake ultrasound, made fake doctor's notes just to torment him, and then brought him to court. And he spent God knows how much money, trying to fight that. And the system failed him. So like him just sitting there in that courtroom, I feel like takes a lot of strength, but he's, if I were him, honestly, I wouldn't blame the guy if he just didn't show up at all. It was like, fuck this, you know what I mean? But he does, he shows up and he really wants to see this through. So I'm proud of him for that. So,
and the judge takes notice of that.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we'll keep going.
Appreciate that. And sir, I do appreciate your perspective on that and wanting to move this case forward. And again, I think if there's that is a determination for the case management judge. He or she would have more information on the case and what's appropriate. So, but I can't say Mr. Lueders has appeared in front of me numerous times, and I don't see him as the type of attorney to try to unreasonably delay things. It sounds like he's trying to do his best to review the information best he can and move things along the best he can.
That still pissed
Anybody
me
else
off.
have any
I was such
questions?
a punt.
I wanna-
I want to opine on this, but then I'm going to stop myself because I don't technically have to. Whereas Laura gets Judge Duty being like, oh yeah, we chatted about this earlier. It's just so unfortunate that Clayton does not look like a victim. It is such a psychological barrier in the world that we cannot perceive victims well.
I didn't realize I had muted myself. My bad. I was gonna say, realistically, like if you had sitting next to Christian Lueders there, if you had a 6 foot something former NFL player, and then you had 2 Laura-sized women sitting on the other side of the room, like that would be a very different. I feel like you would get a very different reaction to that.
Yes, exactly.
So
Yeah. And I don't think that it's overt sexism. I think that it's just a lack of objectivity.
yeah, well, I think that people underestimate, because size and physicality is such an easy thing for us to perceive. But when you have never been through something as psychologically torturous as what these men have been through, you don't realize that no matter how big or small you are, no matter how old or young you are, how smart you are, how whatever, you can do just as much psychological damage to someone as anybody else, because it's all happening internally. It's all happening in your head. And it's all, the way that you go about your life is affected, but there's no physical mark there to show you how much damage has been done. All you can do is tell people over and over. But unfortunately, in this criminal case, Clayton and Greg and Mike, they aren't all going to get to stand up and play their story from the Love Trap podcast. They get a couple minutes to talk about it, and it doesn't really show up as well as it should. And they don't get the kind of consideration that they, probably deserve, because it's not a physical thing that you can just look at for 1 second and tell, oh, that's bad. Anybody can say I was emotionally abused, I was mentally abused by this person. What does that really mean? You can't see it. It's not a tangible thing. You can't measure it the way that you can with I have bruises on my face, that kind of thing. So it's,
yeah.
Oh, it's password protected now.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'll be honest. I stopped looking for updates on David's case since his dilemma, and I'm probably not gonna.
Bye, David.
Yeah, I think I did see a post about his law firm officially being closed, and I'm just like, you know what? That's fine. That's that. I don't need to fight that anymore. So
the reality of the situation is that history will not remember David for anything, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I might remember the time I had to spend writing a motion to a judge about how I'm not an identity fraud, but other people probably won't. So yeah. All right. This video is almost over. Hold on. Let me play the rest.
Put anything else on the record? Yeah.
Sorry.
I got you.
If this attorney does not stick around, what kind of, in my profession, we have to it's just lights, but there's a strict guideline to follow, a protocol and a time frame. If Laura attains new representation, are we going to put any time frames around that so we're not doing this over and over and over again?
Again, I think that would be an issue for the case management judge, but given the circumstances and the length of time this case has been going on, let me just look at the docket really quick in this case.
For me,
but if there was a new attorney, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's 2021 when I've been dealing with this.
Okay. Given the circumstances, I would think that if there was a new attorney on the case, the judge would try to put some parameters in place. But again, it's really difficult for me to say what those parameters would be. The the case management judge would be in a much better position to determine that and talk to you about what they thought was a.
So you said that was Greg talking. I heard like a faint kind of voice. Let me move back a few seconds.
Oh yeah, it's looters saying to I got you. I don't know what that was in response to, obviously.
I think that would be an.
I see him moving his hand there back there. So okay, let me see. Let's go to 2750.
But there's a strict guideline.
Okay, so that's definitely him talking. Let me move back just a little bit so I don't miss any of him talking.
Put anything else on the record?
He's gonna talk now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got you.
If this attorney does not stick around, what kind of, in my profession, we have to put, it's just lights, but there's a strict guideline to follow a protocol and a time frame. If Laura attains new representation, are we going to put any time frames around that so we're not doing this over and over and over again?
Again, I think that would be an issue for the case management judge, but
so Greg asks if Laura gets new counsel, is there going to be any time limit so that she cannot continue to punt this over and over and over again? Okay.
And Looter's answer is, it's funny, but it's also just so scummy. But yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
Given the circumstances and the length of time this case has been going on, let me just look at the docket really quick in this case.
For me,
but if there was a new attorney, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's 2021 when I've been dealing with this.
Okay.
Okay.
Given the circumstances,
in case you guys missed that, I do have the captions down there, but Greg says it's been since 2021 I've been dealing with this, and that's 5 years.
I would think that if there was a new attorney on the case, the judge would try to put some parameters in place. But again, it's really difficult for me to say what those parameters would be. The case management judge would be in a much better position to determine that and talk to you about what they thought was appropriate if there was a new attorney coming on. But I do understand your concerns and your frustrations in that regard and wanting to get this case moving and see that justice is done. And I think that the judges also have a packed calendar too, and they also want to see resolution of these cases. They don't want to see these cases unreasonably extended. So they also want to make sure that these cases are moving along as quickly as possible. Again, with also balancing that with complying with any due process rights and just making sure that that Mr. Luters or any other attorney can properly advise their clients on how to proceed. So I know that's not the answer necessarily that you're looking for your question, but unfortunately that is like the best I can do, and that's where I'm at in the circumstances where I'm at.
Thank you.
Yep.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah.
Certainly in my experience, and I think Mr. Luter's experience, in a situation like this, if Ms. Owens were to get another lawyer, many judges, given particularly the victim's input, would require that counsel avow to readiness within a short period of time.
Just really quickly, if you remember, didn't he already say that he would be ready on time?
That's what I was gonna bring up.
Okay.
In his appearance, he said,
right. So he's already said, I will be ready by this date. So if he keeps doing this thing where it's like, oh, I couldn't access the terabytes or whatever because all of a sudden he's dumb as rocks and like he can't, like he says that like a month before the trial, which is coming up not long from now. I mean, it was supposed to, I guess it got kicked down the road a little bit, but if he, were to do that, would that become a problem then because he said he would be ready before, or is that something a judge would usually overlook?
Well, it becomes a problem for Laura, honestly, from a strategy perspective, because, the judge, if you have to move the trial date once, the judge is going to do that. But every single time after you move the trial date once, you are setting yourself up for the judge to say, and this is the last time, it's a go regardless of who you have. So it's kind of like using like a trump, not a trump card, but it's like using a special card that you really only, it's like having an ace. You're playing one of your aces essentially by doing that, and you only have so many.
Gotcha. So before we just listen to the rest of this, I just have to ask something that's been going through my mind is if she were to continue to get different attorneys for this, even if whether they said they were ready for the trial date or not, is that something that would eventually have to be answered to in one of these like bankruptcy cases? Like, how are you paying for this? Or is that something that would be totally off limits for them to ask?
Yeah, it would be off limits for them to ask at this point. She hasn't filed for bankruptcy again. She can't for a year. Yeah.
Right. The thing that I'm wondering though is has admitted that she's never had a paying job, and her parents pay her expenses. So her parents' bankruptcy, are they going to have to answer that at all, or is that something that they cannot ask about? Totally, they can't ask about.
Like like most things with the Owenses, they have made it so atypical that it's hard to answer that question. If they were going to continue with their bankruptcy, which would lead to the meeting of the creditors, which would invariably lead to the 2009 examination because they can't tell the truth, then in a 2009 examination in bankruptcy, you can ask some pretty hard-hitting questions. Like you can ask like, how many packs of smokes do you buy a week? Or like, did you buy lottery tickets with your paycheck? Like you can get really invasive. So that would absolutely be on the table.
Right. So I guess I probably told you this. I think we talked about this before, just kind of like while we were playing games or something. But my thought is, of course, this is just total speculation on my part. I have no proof of this whatsoever. My speculation is that they are paying some of their income or some of their money that they have stashed somewhere to another family member who is the family member who's paying for Laura's attorney's fees. So to me, it kind of feels like they're giving some money to somebody else who can then pay the lawyer. So they say they're not paying the lawyer, but that's just my total speculation. I have no proof of that whatsoever. Please do not take this as fact, but like, that's kind of what my brain is telling me. So
that would be consistent with their level of stupidity.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're almost done with this one, guys, and then the next one's a really short video, so we'll get there.
If we're a month from trial, generally speaking, courts are going to say, well, can you be ready for trial? If the answer is no, then they're not going to allow new counsel to come on board. Is that
good
fair?
point? Yeah.
I mean, it's actually, it's by rule.
Yeah.
If there's a set trial date, that new attorney has to avow that they're going to be ready. That still doesn't mean that there's not going to be an extension, as Your Honor knows. Things happen, exigent circumstances, whatever it is. So, I can safely say that we are working with due diligence on this case.
Okay. Does anybody else want to be heard? Okay. So it sounds like we're not going to be able to get the case resolved today, at least this current version of the plea agreement. Would that be fair?
That's fair, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to address today? I know we do have, there is a case management conference, looks like tomorrow on Monday in front of Judge Reuter. But was there anything else that we needed to talk about today?
I don't think so. Not from the defense's perspective.
Ms. Owens, did you have any questions for me?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Leiter, do you have anything else that you wanted to?
Nothing from the station.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you all, being here this afternoon and discussing and sharing your concerns as well.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Thank you.
All right, I'll swap. Thank you, Snitzel Ninja, for posting that. By the way, I put a link in the chat. If you guys need it, I'll also post it in the comments when we're done with the stream. And then I have another one we'll watch from All the Best Research here, which was the hearing from today. Let me just pull that up real quick. Okay, and this one's a much shorter one.
Call number 9 first. This is CR 2025-0.
Okay. Bruce just wanted to, I think he chimed in when we were talking about David's blog, says he was rude to us. And I think that you and Bruce were probably the last people that David ever zeroed in on his blogs before he finally, did his swan song. But yeah. Bruce, also, thank you for being a member for 25 months. Says, thanks, Lauren and Patrick L. Rock. Thank you very much. I can't believe I missed our 2-year anniversary. It would have been 24 months last month. Oh, my gosh. But thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Wait, Liz, the prosecutor, was cracking me up, spinning his chair, looking at the ceiling. He's done this for way too. Wait, what?
Yeah, Liz was saying, don't they teach you in law school not to like slouch and to like sit up straight? And she's like talking about how the prosecutor is just, he's having a lot of fun over there.
Oh my God.
My favorite story from law school was I was interning for the prosecutor's office. I was second chairing. The prosecutor said, I'm really thirsty. Go get me a water bottle. So I went, and I was trying to be fancy. So I went and got him, a Fiji water at 7-Eleven.
Did you bring it back to him with your pinky up or something? Like, what do you mean fancy?
I wish it was. I mean, I wanted him to have nice water, and I don't know. I don't fucking know.
All right.
And I give it to him, and he grabs it off the table and throws it in the trash. And he's like, go get me Poland Springs. He's like, you want the jury seeing me with Fiji water? And
Wait,
he was like,
what?
and he was like, is that a metal wristband on your watch? And I was like, it's a watch. Yeah, there's metal on it. And he's like, no, wear a leather one. So yeah, there's a lot of craftsmanship or whatever, stagecraft.
Yeah, I do. Well, this was from today, and then we'll pull up the notes after this one. But this is a short one. Again, this is from All the Best Research. I'm going to put a link in the comments here while this is playing, guys, if you want to go watch the whole thing after this. But we'll play it right now.
07905, State versus Laura Michelle Owens. Time set for a complex case management conference and a status conference. Can I get appearances, please?
Morning, Your Honor. Ed Leiter on behalf of the state.
Morning.
Morning, Judge Christian Hughes, Laura Owens, who's present with me out of custody.
All right, Ms. Owens, can I get your name and date of birth, please?
Laura Michelle Owens, 5/14/1990.
All right, thank you. I did get the complex case management report. Also, we had a brief discussion in my office back there. Mr. Leiter, anything you wanted to add or any issues you wanted to discuss arising from the complex case management?
Filing.
Okay. Counsel, anything you wanted to add or discuss today?
Not on top of what we submitted in the CCMC reports.
Okay. All right, there's a pending motion modify release conditions to permit travel. Mr. Leiter, did you want to be heard on that issue?
Judge, given that Ms. Owens has traveled somewhat frequently, as always appeared for court, the state doesn't take any position. I do know one of the victims, Mr. Gillespie, is opposed to any sort of travel. Previously, one of the other victims, who isn't present in the courtroom, has indicated he didn't have an issue with travel, but yeah.
I do now. I don't want to travel anymore.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that point of view.
So I heard him say, let me just move back a little bit. So the first thing was about Greg. Wasn't there a conflict of date
Do you want
with
to be heard
Greg?
on that issue?
Judge, given that Ms. Owens has traveled somewhat frequently, as always appeared for court, the state doesn't take any position.
Okay.
I do know one of the victims, Mr. Gillespie, is opposed to any sort of travel.
Okay, so the state says for Greg, he's opposed.
Previously, one of the other victims, who isn't present in the courtroom, has indicated he didn't have an issue with travel, but yeah.
I do now. I don't want to travel anymore.
Clayton says, I do now have an issue. I don't want her to travel anymore. And I don't blame Clayton for saying that. Dude.
I wish that he had made the causal connection, though, between I don't want her to travel because her lawyer still hasn't gone through all the information. But even, because it's like, how can she participate in her defense if she's traveling all the time? Like, that's the argument I make. But even at the same time, sorry, go ahead.
Isn't she also continuously saying that she's going to California for work, which we know from her bankruptcy case, she does not work?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I
feel like that's kind of an issue. You're committing more fraud. Is that what we're doing here? We're committing more fraud because she just admitted she has never had a taxable income to anybody, but she keeps saying she's going to California for work in her criminal case. It's a bit of an issue.
And so, there's multiple parties involved on the prosecution side. You have to view them as monoliths. So the victim witness advocate is Clayton's representative. And then the prosecutor is the prosecutor. And so I really think that it's really on the victim witness advocate to make Clayton's case to the prosecutor for the reasons that you just outlined, so that the prosecutor can start objecting, because I think that's very reasonable. But until you get the prosecutor to make that argument, the judge is not really gonna be persuaded.
Well, I guess like saying I don't want her to travel anymore is probably like, well, we all know that that's reasonable, right? But like the judge is not meant to consider social media opinions and like people who've been following the podcast and the case or whatever. He's just whatever's presenting it in front of him, which I think I've sensed a lot of frustration from people who are frustrated because of the way this is being kicked down the line, I guess, based on how things are going in court, when we all know like that she's 100% guilty pretty much from what we've seen. But it's kind of like at the same time, it's difficult because I love Clayton, right? And so I want this to go smoothly and to be as done as quickly as possible for him. And I get frustrated as well when it keeps getting kicked down and then there are certain things that aren't being said or considered by the prosecution or the state or whatever. But at the same time, I don't want to live in a world where social media opinions drive judges' decision making either. So like it's kind of a weird spot to be in, I feel like. Yeah. Where I'm like, I'm upset about it, but I'm not upset about it, you know?
I think it would be more persuasive if it was tied to things that the judge was aware of. But if it's not, then yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have every single thousands of people who've been following this case now come up to the hearing and just stand up and say like, hey, she doesn't have a job. You know what I mean? It's like you have to wait and see what's actually presented and then go with that. And then I know a lot of people feel it's unjust, and then it kind of breaks down trust in our public systems in general when we see stuff like this. And I kind of sometimes want to urge people like, yes, this absolutely sucks, but at the same time, don't totally lose your faith in judges and systems, because like, yeah, things go wrong sometimes, and we have systems that don't operate the way they're supposed to sometimes. But when they are operating, they're supposed to. It doesn't always give you that feel good, outcome you're looking for, but it doesn't mean it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And I feel like this is like a really complicated kind of thing to witness, because it's like I don't want to say like, God, this is just ass. Like the judge is not doing what I want him to do, but at the same time, it's like he kind of is doing what he's supposed to be doing, and I do want to see that. But like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I want to bookend your point because we have a lot more security in the courtroom today. And I'm wondering, because the Owenses will complain about absolutely anything, if they complained about the spectator at the hearing asking a question as being like, look, we're being harassed even more. We need more security.
Right. Well, who the hell's even there to like, I don't recognize these people in the courtroom other than the people that we know are there. So like, why did you need extra security for that? Who fucking knows? Probably just to feel special that day.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who this guy is standing in front of the bar in the tan suit. He's like on the other side of the bar. That piece of wood behind Laura and the prosecutors, that's called the bar. That's what you literally pass.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know why he's there.
So the guy in the tan bottom left, we're talking about the bottom left guy? Standing,
he
walking?
Is, he's standing. He's got like a tan suit on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what he's doing.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's we'll watch the rest of this one. It's a couple minutes later.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that point of view. I did review the record. Miss Owens made all her court appearances. Does not appear to be a flight risk. So over the victim's objection, permit Miss Owens to travel to California. The date, remind me the dates of that.
It's today to Friday, Judge. So
June 29th through July 3rd. Does that sound right?
Friday. Yes. That's
okay. Did Mr. Lauder, did you have a chance to discuss that potential other court date, or will you let me know about that down the road?
I spoke with one of the victims. I'll let the court know about having the ability to speak with the other victim on that particular day.
Okay. I know there's some, I guess there was some recently disclosed evidence the defense is reviewing. Am I just affirming the current dates for now, and we'll discuss on July 22nd?
Ooh, I wonder if that's the stuff that he was talking about in the settlement conference.
I guess Mr. Lauder can.
Okay, let's move back a few seconds. What were we saying?
In the settlement conference, the prosecutor said, I'm going to put together exactly the exhibits that I'm going to put Laura under the jail with. In the settlement conference, he's like, over the weekend, I'm going to put together a list of exhibits for Laura's attorney to see that I'm going to use.
July 22nd?
Evidence the defense is reviewing. Am I just affirming the current dates for
What
now,
I'm
and we'll
saying-
discuss on July 22nd?
For now, Judge, yes.
Okay.
Is the court able to, or I guess Mr. Leiter can jump in on this. Do we want to schedule a settlement conference, or would it be able to do that today, or do you want us to do that offline?
Well, I think that's what we were talking about. Mr. Leiter needs to confer with the other victim and make sure that date is available, and the parties can just let me know. We kind of have it set aside, leaving it available till we hear from you.
Yeah, apologies for interrupting. Yes, then for now, we'll just affirm the FTMC date.
Okay, so Ms. Owens, you need to be back in my courtroom July 22nd at 8:45 for a final trial management conference. Trial assignment is July 29th at 9 o'clock before the trial assignment. Judge, you need to make all those court appearances. If you fail to appear, warrants can issue for your arrest. If you don't show up for trial, it could occur in your absence. Stay in touch with your lawyer. And we are in recess in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, if the victims are okay with that, can we then go ahead and vacate those, with the August 28th date, can we vacate the July dates?
Well, I will probably need some sort of motion to change that trial date, because the date we're talking about would.
So we're pushing it, basically, is what we're saying.
Well, so the series of events was at this settlement conference. The prosecutor said, I'm going to give you more evidence. It looks like he gave him that evidence, and now they want to have another settlement conference.
Mm-hmm.
So the settlement conference will necessarily have to push out the trial date.
Okay. And they did set that for, was it August?
They have not set the next settlement yet.
Okay. For some reason, I thought they had. I don't know why. Am I crazy? Oh,
I mean,
a settlement. The one they were talking about was added to the court docket on August 28th. So
I'd have to listen to it again. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah, I'll listen. I'll take notes real quick.
Okay. Yeah. We also have the Reddit notes.
To schedule a settlement conference, or would it be able to do that today, or do you want us to?
Hold on. Let me move back here a little bit.
Some recently disclosed evidence the defense is reviewing. Am I just affirming the current dates for now, and we'll discuss on July 22nd?
For now, Judge, yes. Is the court able to, or I guess Mr. Leiter can jump in on this. Do we want to schedule a settlement conference?
So no dates change, and they're on 7/22.
Well, I think that's what.
No dates change, and then what?
There's going to be another hearing on 7/22.
Okay, 7/22. So what is this date then? Settlement conference added to the docket for August 28th.
Oh, so they did add it. Yeah, so that's the next settlements conference. Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that.
So it's confusing. It's confusing to me. So that does mean that they're definitely pushing things back then. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I've seen a snapshot of the actual docket entry, but I don't have it pulled up. But this is all on the subreddit in the notes from today. So they're definitely, I guess, moving it back because it says August 28th at 2:30 p.m.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I don't know why they're gonna have another one. She's not gonna fucking plead,
dude. I don't know. It's a mess. Of course she's not going to. But okay, let me skip ahead here, and then we'll listen to the last minute of this, and we'll
probably need some sort of motion to change that trial date, because the date we're talking about would be just a day or so before the last day. So we'll have to address the trial date anyhow eventually. So, but once you find out that date works, then we'll just respond accordingly. Okay. Okay. All right. So we were able to figure out what the deal is with her release conditions. The release conditions were set and affirmed. I don't know if she appeared virtually that day or whatever, but she never actually signed for them. That's why they have not loaded up in our system. So she needs to step over and see my courtroom assistant, give that signature, and then we're kind of all squared away. All right. Thank you. We're in recess in this matter.
All right.
Thanks.
That was it. Okay. So, and I'll pull up these. Hang on, I'll pull up these notes one more time just before we sign off tonight. State of Arizona versus Laura Owens. Yep. Laura and Jan both attended. Laura's criminal defense lawyer, Christian, was there. Ed Leiter was there for the state. Clayton was there. Camera was in the room to record. Okay. Extra security arrived when Laura arrived and left when Laura left. So it was definitely for Laura. The lawyers, did she call the bomb squad dogs this time? The lawyer spoke privately. Today's conference was previously listed on the docket as either CCMC or change of plea. It was a CCMC. A change of plea was not entered. Prior to today's conference, Laura requested permission to travel. Clayton and Greg objected, but the judge is allowing it. A settlement conference has been added to the court docket on August 28th at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, guys, if you go to the Justice for Clayton subreddit, of course, you can read the notes here and the comments under it yourself. But yeah, any final thoughts on that last one we just watched?
I thought today was a big nothing burger, but it turns out it's actually pretty significant. Like, the prosecution, it seems, has given the Laura the exact evidence that they're going to use to prove her guilt. And so now it's like, now it's not like, oh, we're going to prove your guilt with 2 terabytes of information. It's like, no, we're going to prove your guilt with exhibit A, B, C, and D. And so now
she certainly made it easy for everyone to show the medical fraud.
I mean, I could pull the exhibits that you need to prove guilt in like 10 minutes. Like, it's not that hard.
No.
But, you know, I think that makes this hearing a lot more interesting to know that the prosecution's cards are now fully on the table, as if they weren't before, but now they really, really are fully on the table. So right. I don't think the prosecution has any further obligations. I think the ball is now fully in Laura's court to decide what she wants to do at that settlement conference. You know, absent her attorney, you know, sorry, my mom is watching, so I'm not going to be vulgar, but I don't think that there's going to be anything that attorney can do to change the situation.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And either way, like, they're not going to change the plea. Like, the highest degree felony is a no agreements plea, and that's not. I mean, that's the only thing that could change is if Looters looks at the evidence they gave over and says, this is pretty weak. Like, I don't think that your guys are going to win on this. Like, why don't we agree? She'll plead guilty on it, but let's agree no jail time. That's like that's the most important thing in my mind, is if Looters can poke enough holes in what the state has given him to make that argument. But the prosecutor has already said that he spoke to Rachel Mitchell about the suggested plea offer. So I personally am not going to go back to the head of the Maricopa County Prosecutor's Office and be like, hey, you know that plea you told me to go get? Well, actually, like, we can't get it anymore. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no.
I don't see that. What is my dog doing? She's like half on the bed.
Yeah, I see that.
But no, it was a more interesting hearing than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think until we see Laura's hands flapping away in the wind, you know, we're not going to have a plea.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I still don't think she's going to take it, man. I just don't think she's going to take it.
Well, she is. I don't know Laura, obviously, but I know enough about the case that I can say that she is. She has a high level of fear of uncertainty. And, you know, we've seen that in so many different examples. And a no agreements plea is like peak uncertainty for Laura. And I just don't think that that's something that her brain can handle.
Probably not. Yeah. Michelle Taylor, thank you for being a member for 16 months. Lauren, appreciate your stream so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Marissa Marie, thank you for the $5. I wish someone would tell the judge that while she's out on bail, she's harassing her victim in CA. Yeah, I think the thing is, though, with this is an Arizona state case, so there's nothing they can really do about that. That's, you know, it sucks. It definitely sucks. And she's a terrible person for doing this to people across multiple states, right? But like, the only people who can really punish Laura in California for that is the California courts. So I mean, I don't know if they could really do anything about that.
Oh yeah, by the way, about that, I checked the docket, the appellate docket for Mike's case, and they did grant an extension, but it said in the fine print, no more extensions. So at least there won't be any.
Dude, I totally forgot about that because she had so much going on the last few days. I think totally forgot that she had asked for an extension. Okay. Well, you know what? It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. I mean, where can you even go with it? How long has it been now? 7, almost 8 months since the thing was dismissed, and the guy can't stay far enough away from her to save his life. Like, what do you?
She's in a different state. Like, in a different state. I don't understand it at all. But we talked about this. Like, the San Francisco court system is in no hurry to act. So I don't even know if they rule on her bullshit.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, you just explain that to me.
It's just chef's kiss, though, because how many times has this woman probably gotten exactly what she wants? And now you're running into...
That's why I got this far, right? So many times. She had the same dumbass commissioner whose name is Judge Duty. Like, Judge Duty. Commissioner Duty gave her 2 harassment orders against men that she faked babies with. Like, this is like a fucking... like weird spin-off of some kind of cartoon movie or something. It's insane.
And you know what the fucked up part is? I bet if you asked him, like, hey, she perjured herself in front of you, he would be like, oh, well, she was a sweet girl. Like,
I don't know how Reddit memes work.
Yes, exactly. How was I supposed to know it was a burrito?
Oh my God. Katrina Reg, thank you for the 5. And didn't her own lawyer say there is significant evidence for perjury or something like that in the first video? Oh, did he? I might have missed that part because we only went to the part. Okay.
Yeah, he did. And that's why I think count 1 is the big one.
That's okay. Gotcha. Omar Tilton lawyer, thank you for being a new member. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Appreciate that. It says Omar, now you're in the vault. Yeah. Omar can go watch all my videos of me talking to like 3 different people who are my channel members now. All right. I think that's all I got for now, guys. I'm going to go play a little bit on Fortnite and then go to bed. That's all I got on me. So I will talk to you guys later. Patrick, if there's anything else you want to say, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I am working on getting time with Tiff to go over the bankruptcy stuff. So fingers crossed that happens this week. But as I may have mentioned, I've started some new jobs, so I've just been really busy. But I appreciate everyone's.
Really, I haven't heard anything about that.
No, you haven't heard me screaming in the middle of
All right,
no, I really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for everyone's kind words, and we'll just keep watching.
Yeah, thanks for coming here. We appreciate you. And guys, I'm sending you over to Echoes of the Tabernacle, our friend who is streaming right now. When I end this stream, it'll send you over to him directly, but I'm going to post a link right here in the chat right now, just in case.
And tea time, the California trial judge does have to rule on the motion to correct the record. And that's why I'm saying I don't hold my breath for it happening, because they seem to take the time over there.
Yeah. So good luck with the Afro Man stuff, Lauren. Yeah, I can't believe this is happening. So tomorrow is officially 30 days since I formally asked for a refund in writing. So I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't give it to me by tomorrow, I even sent him, I sent this man an invoice. So all he has to do is click a link and say, here's your money. That takes less than a minute. Okay. And he still didn't do it.
What were his exact words? I'm sorry I got high and forgot. Like, that's going to look great in a complaint.
I know, right? He said, sorry, he said, I love you. Sorry, I got high and forgot to do your interview. And I was like, it's been 3 months.
Well, hey, at least he admitted to liability. There you go.
Yeah, right. I'm like, dude, all you need to do is like hit that refund button, and then we won't have to do anything else. Because the last thing I want to do is draw a whole bunch of attention to this. And like, I've already done too much, in my opinion, because like I had to, or I wouldn't get my money back. But I still didn't get my money back, so now I have to draw even more attention to it by going to court. So it's just nutty.
It just worries me for you because the internet's so fucking crazy, dude.
I know. I'm not looking forward to like having this dude's fans like shit on me, but like it's not. I have it all laid out there in writing. The dude sent me voicemails. He sent me texts. He sent me Instagram messages. Like, I met him in person. There's a photo of us that night where he said,
texted me.
"Coming to do the
I'm a witness.
Yeah. So like there's all this like there's all the evidence in the world. So like it's the guy's just got to give me my money back. That's it. Just hit the button. All you have to do is click the link I sent you and hit the button and I'll go away.
Like
That's it. So
all I have to do is play like his song 100 times and it'll make him enough money to do it. Like it's not that big of a deal, bro.
Oh my god, it's like I sent them the money, they already spent it. I'm like, are you broke? Like what's going on here? I feel like this is not this should not be a difficult thing to do at all. So
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'll talk more about that tomorrow night. We got Blake Lively's fee motion I'll have to talk about in the morning, and then I'll do that tonight. So, all right, guys, I gotta pee, so we have to go. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All. Okay. Oh wait, we're gonna.